Hello and welcome back to Port Corinthe, my city showcase. Um, as you see, we take it down where we left off last episode. And one thing I'll like to point out is that at the moment I have only used two-lane roads. And even for this first highway entrance and exit, I just make a two-lane road entrance. But that will not be the case for the rest of this video. Big part of the video will be where I upgrade my road system to like the adult version. This was just for the beginning, and now all roads are unlocked. I can use the beautification roads. I like to do that alongside the commercial areas because they really benefit from it. And yeah, most of the times the outer perimeter of the city as well. There we go with our first avenue. And now I'll give you a really quick tutorial in how to make a fast roundabout, and that's by using these little dirt tracks as guide. And there we go, a perfect roundabout. One road bypasses this avenue, which is very handy for buses and other public transport. Now, we have the stage set to build our first industry DLC, which will be farming. And as you can see, I placed part of the structure outside of the fertile ground because one of the things that probably not everybody knows is that the factories, the processing units, do not need to be on the fertile ground. They just need to be inside the zone, but you can also zone outside the fertile ground, of course. And yeah, a lot of people make really big parts of their map accessible with ore or farmland or whatsoever, whereas you actually only need little bits. As you can see here, I use actually only one road for my crop production, and the rest is all for fun. I do place one grain silo, not too much because I like that everything is stocked, and when not stocked they can export the crops, and maybe I'll import some back then sometimes, but hey, that's okay. Skip a little bit and we'll make a new part of our town, which will be separated by an avenue from the rest, just as before. We'll now come to the edge of our map, but that won't matter because later on we'll be buying the tiles injected to this. So when something doesn't fit, it will fit later. Well, you've seen this before, so I go in fast forward mode through this. And as you can see, I do not care that everything is completely rectangular. And there we go. Our farming has reached level 2, which means actually the biggest change. We can now also produce flour, and in the farming industry you actually have two types of product you can produce: animal products and flour, and you can also produce the crops. For instance, the lemonade factory also needs crops. With this, we also unlock the first special industry building, and I'll really advise you to build these because they'll make you tons of money. They use actually the basic two components that are produced. In this case, that is flour and animal products, and they make a new product out of that, which is sold for a higher profit. And every industry has this one building which needs the own industry to the two products produced by the own industry. And as I said, I really advise you to build these in the factories. Now I'm going to upgrade my highway exit, and this will be the end point of this highway, and it will end in a big roundabout going one way towards the industrial area, and the other way will be the residential area. These roundabouts, sometimes I make them a little bit bigger, because then I expect that more traffic will go over it, but you can make them quite small as well. That's the one traffic light I will allow for the moment, because when everything is full of roundabouts, that doesn't look good either. Connect these two. And now I will start on my forestry industry. I connect it to the other part of the industry because one thing that these DLCs need is garbage disposal, or at least these two need it. And for the rest they need water and electricity, but actually they don't need fire protection or police protection. Again, the part which will produce the wood, the timber, doesn't need to be that big. Just a couple, just one road is enough. And an industry reaches its second level as soon as you got 150 employees and you produced 500 goods, which is fairly easy if you set it up a little bit big, as I'm doing here. And let's not forget, it brings in money. It doesn't supply a super amount of working spaces compared to the space it takes, but it produces a lot of money. We're at farming level 3, so also there we can build some new buildings, but actually they still do the same. You can use the normal zoning over the zoning which is used for the DLC, just like you can do that with Park Life, I guess. I don't know yet. I'm going to buy that DLC as soon as it's in sale or whatever. Ah, there we go. We reached the extreme of the building tile. But that's okay. I'll just fill it up, and the road will come as soon as we're able to purchase it. Or able, when necessity is there. Here I like to I built a second part of this this area in an angle, so I get a little bit out of my grid-like comfort zone and use some different shapes. All this has some coverage of all the things, which is for the moment enough. Not every part of the city is fully developed. There is a lot of empty space, but we're busy to reach the big city status, and with it unlock the high density residential and commercial and offices buildings, and the empty space in between these things will be filled up with high density, because these high density buildings will then be alongside the avenue, which is okay. upgrading my forestry DLC. I reached it, made it level 2, so I can also build a special factory of that. I really like how with his DLCs you use this 10 meter units, you can place most buildings. A nice overview of the city we built so far, because we reached Big Town. With it we unlocked tons of stuff, and along the university, which we'll find a nice spot over there. As you've seen, I've only used a couple of paths now there to make a quick road towards the university from the bus station, which is there. But yeah, if you place your roads carefully and make sometimes how do you say, like they're a crossing, then most pedestrians can reach everything very nice. There you see, all this gives a lot of new spots for new citizens, which will fill up already for the next level, and with it unlocking the trains. But we'll not be building the train system until the next episode. But we did get the extra tiles. And we have reached another industry level. But let's finish up first on this avenue road. When only avenues cross, then I like to use this highway roundabout, but otherwise I use the 2-lane one-way roundabout, because that is perfect for pedestrians. You saw me building there a little extra corner that's going to be the spot for the train station, but we'll build that in the third episode. Do some zoning. That's like an industry, the university area. I named it University Road. And here we also have something which is not zoned yet. And this is Aphrodite College, because the map we're building on is Aphrodite Valley. As you can see, I use dirt tracks just as help lines, just to help me get where I need to be or where I want to be. And the end point of an avenue that can be traffic lighted. And there we have reached the small city, because I planted so many of the high density houses. This is going to be my beach area. I downloaded some nice assets, and one of them was a local beach, and yeah, I like to use it because I was growing up at the beach myself, and that's those are assets where, how to say, just people will wander around at the beach, and that of course provides some entertainment in itself. One of the landfills is empty. To keep up my garbage processing up to capacity. But as soon as the other one is also empty, I can build my subway entrance there. Because that is never in a populated area. checking up at the industry DLCs, and sometimes just placing some building to get enough employers or whatever to reach the next level. The forestry barracks are quite big, and yeah, I hate to use that space, but whatever. Farming is already at level 4 now. It unlocks quite some new special industrial buildings, but because most of it will need to be imported, because yeah, then there are no special industry factory buildings which combine the farming and the wood industry. You'll need to have glass or whatever, a lot of plastic, petroleum products to produce goods. Making sure people can get a shower at the beach. And I have to set up some public transport for the university, of course. Taking it a little bit around the residential area, and here I actually need to make a new bus stop, but that's why I delete that line. Now I have a nice bus stop here at the edge of the city, where buses can make their turn and then going to the university. That'll be the bus station for my beach area. And I decided to fill it up with some high density residential. That's like the surf school and some other services. That's one thing I like to do, is the parks have this ability to be linked up with the road, and yeah, then you have this nice shortcut through the park. Well, everything is going well. There are no big traffic issues, except that one exit and entrance is quite busy with the new DLC industries. So let's fashion another one. I'd like to keep those rocks there. I'm missing out one. But there we have a second entrance and exit, which allows traffic to disperse. They're quite close to each other, but because it's the end of the highway, that's okay. Here we have a nice overview. Thanks for watching, and we'll be taking up where we left off in the next episode.